You physically cannot have a loss without a gain. Everything is in duality. You cannot have a single-sided coin. So if you're fearing the loss, you're not looking at the gain.
If you don't change your belief system and you don't reflect back on where it all started, you're never going to be able to change the future. Hello and welcome back to the Beauty Industry Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Sammy Kennedy. Today I have the first guest of 2025 and I'm really excited because it's one of my good friends, Kim Kent, who has been a part of my own journey in business and also my personal life. And the reason why I wanted to bring her onto the podcast is because she is an absolute weapon at what she does. She has lived and breathed everything she preaches. She has been a really bad money management person and gone through all of the personal shit, all of the crazy stories and self-worth, and then come out the other side and completely transformed not only her relationship with herself, but also her relationship with money. And as a result, now she is teaching women all over Australia how to also do that as well. And if you haven't seen her, you haven't heard of her, grab your phone out, go on Instagram and type in Kim Kent, because I promise you she will share so much value and tips that can really help you take control of your financial future. So welcome to the show, Kim.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Such a nice intro. I was like, that's like the perfect intro. It's like you know me so well.
I swear, maybe I should be your hype girl for your challenges, like introduce you to people.
It's okay. I need to have you on retainer. Like you're my hype girl.
For anyone who doesn't know who you are, other than my little intro I just did, can you share a bit about your journey? Like, who are you? What do you do? What led you to become a money coach?
Yes, I love this question. Everyone always asks me this because it's like, it's a money coach. And then like, what does a money coach even do? Because we need a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I don't claim to be those things or give advice as one. But look, I'm always like, long story short, I'm keep this as short as I can. I wasn't born into wealth. I grew up with a lot of scarcity around money, a lot of stress around money. My parents always fought about money. I felt like my whole world revolved around money, but we never had any. When my parents divorced, it was like when I was 8, it was fucked up. I just remember so much pain and so much stress, and my mum became a single mum and she had no qualifications. It was like there was never enough money, but it was all about trying to get more money. So I became obsessed with money, and I started working as soon as I was of legal age to get a job. I just was always chasing the dollar. I did the university thing because, get a degree, you're going to make more money. So I got 2 degrees, can't even use them, couldn't even get a job. It was great. So I was always like, I need to be successful because I don't want the pain that my parents went through. I don't want to live a life like my parents. I want freedom. I want choice. I want stability. I don't want any stress. And I actually fell into my own business after uni. I started working in the online space and I joined a company where I could work for myself, and I took it to the top. I'm going to hit all the promotional levels. I was like so motivated. And I hit the top promotional level. I was 26 years old. I was averaging $100,000 a year. So 6 figures, no husband, no mortgage, no child. I still felt broke. I had no savings. I had a maxed out credit card. I wasn't even I could afford more expensive wine, but I wasn't even buying expensive wine. I wasn't even buying the expensive clothes. So I was like, where the fuck is all my money going? It's just like it never felt enough. No matter what I had, it was never enough, never enough. And I finally decided I needed to do something about it and be working for myself. Like as an entrepreneur, we're surrounded by the personal development and, learning from others. So I was like, okay, I was doing all the free stuff because I didn't feel like I could afford to invest in coaching and to get help with this. And I realized enough was enough. How much more do I need to earn to feel like there's enough? So I dived in, I got a coach, I did programs, I did the courses, I read the books, I did all the work I needed to do to heal my relationship with money. And it's almost like I went into this, like I was the caterpillar and I went into the cocoon and I healed my relationship with money, rewired my subconscious thoughts around it, all the thoughts about money I developed as a child. I learned about wealth principles and universal law and the energetics of money. So no budgeting, no restrictive budgeting, learn actually how to make your money work for you and align your energy to it. And I came out the cocoon, I broke out of the cocoon. And I came out the other side, and my first business that I still was a part of, I started working less and earning more. My husband and I got married. I had a debt-free wedding. We bought a house. We were able to build a house without like feeling like we're strapped into like a stressful mortgage or anything like that. And we were able to save about $100,000 in a couple of years. And we didn't really earn too much more. We just knew how to attract more money, hold more money, all those things. And I was starting to do mindset and business coaching on the side anyway, because the team I'd built, I had a lot of experience around mindset of business. But all my clients kept asking about money because they want more money, they want more freedom. And I was like, look, this is what I've been learning and I love it. And I just became obsessed teaching it and sharing it, that I was like, this is what I meant to do. And I then had a baby. So I did the baby thing and I was like, I actually want to help so many people, but I'm limited with my time with, because sometimes I forget I have a kid. Those of you who are parents, I forget I have a kid that I actually like want to do business, and then I need to keep a child alive at the same time. So I put everything I learned into a program, into a way that I can help other people. And then the rest is history. And I've been doing that now for a couple of years. We've helped over 200 women collectively. Like my clients average an extra $20,000 in savings a month and clearing debt. So we've helped collectively about 200 women save $4 million in total, which is really freaking cool. And then that's where we are today.
That's amazing. I thought you were going to tell people about how you inherited some money and blew it on getting new boobs and a few other things, but I guess I'm the one exposing you now.
Well, excuse me, I'm like, how am I kept that. I don't even know if that was more than 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, when I was 23, I blew a $62K inheritance. All I have to show for it now is a good set of boobs. They're good for post-breastfeeding boobs, so I'm really glad that I did a new job, because I would not want to know what they would look like now post-breastfeeding. But the rest I blew. And I went to Thailand, so it was only $7,000 to get my boobs done then. So I'm like, where did that $55,000 go?
Wrote your car off, got a new card, just happened to have the money for it. Like if you are listening to this podcast right now and you feel like you've always just got enough, or you've got the right money at the right time for whenever problems happen, like Kim is a testament to that happening, and she'll teach you how to change that. Like I remember one of the first times we were chatting and we're talking about emergency funds. A lot of people listen to Barefoot Investor. They're like, yep, I've got to make sure I have this money for an emergency fund. However, those same people end up always finding they get into these problems where they're always taking money out of an emergency fund, and they just so happen to have the money there. And so I think what we're going to cover in this episode is going to be really interesting, and just be open to having your perspective challenged or potentially changed, and listen with an open mind. I know there's a lot of judgment that comes around talking about money. Sometimes there's judgment to yourself, maybe it's judgment towards others, and that might be because you've got some form of jealousy, which might secretly be a desire. You never know. And so just when we talk about these things, don't take it to heart. Just have an open mind and allow yourself to maybe potentially open yourself up to a new way of thinking.
Yes, we should do trigger warnings. Trigger warnings, purely it's just your ego not wanting to hear what we have to say. But I'm blunt, I'm upfront, I'm not sugarcoating. Like, we're not here to sugarcoat, we're here to help change your life, because we've been able to change our life. So I love that. Do you know what? I believe all jealousy, every single jealousy out there it's just we're being reflected. Like, if I'm jealous of you, you're reflecting to me what it is I truly want, and I don't have it yet. I love that saying.
100%.
It's been popping up a lot lately, so I like that you've said that. Yeah.
So to get us started, I want to ask you, how do our early experiences with money shape our relationship with it as adults, particularly as business owners as well?
Oh my gosh, we can do the whole episode on this. I do a whole training around, like a whole series of modules around all of this, but I teach you how to do it too. But when you're born as a sponge. You're born as this blank canvas. Like, you don't even know that you're a freaking human being. Like, you have no idea, right? And you have parents. I'm going to refer to them as mum and dad. We all had parental figures, people who are of great influence, who were role models, who brought us up. So they get out their paintbrushes and they paint on our canvas, and they teach us what's right from wrong, from black, from white, from up, from down, but based off of their beliefs. So when it comes to money, they're teaching us through direct conversation, like words to us, like direct teaching, through us witnessing behaviors, hearing conversations, feeling, like witnessing and experiencing their energetics, like their emotions and their reactions. That's how we learn about money. So we learn whether it's the root of all evil or if it's like an unlimited resource. Now, every single one of us, if you're listening and you know that you want more money and you feel like there's not enough, you have grown up hearing and learning about money as a bad thing or as a scarce thing or as something that you really fucking want. But you also hear the whole, like, it causes so many problems. So you have like this love-hate relationship. So yeah, and I'll say the first 8 years of our lives, our brain, we don't have subconscious and conscious mind. It's just one brain. So it's a sponge. It's just soaking up everything. So if you hear your parents fight over money causes fights, money causes problems. If you hear the whole money doesn't grow on trees, like we hear all those things, or we're at the checkout and your mum's putting stuff back because they can't afford it. You're attaching shame. Money creates shame. Like, you're sponging all this up. And then when you hit 8, 9 years old, your critical thinking faculty kicks in, and this separates subconscious to conscious mind. Conscious mind's where you can start to think for yourself, and it's your everyday life, like conscious mind, right? But that's only 5% of your reality. 95% of your reality is made up from your subconscious mind. This is all the stuff that's hardwired into your neural pathways, and it's running the show, which could happen right now. And I'll give the perfect example. So you're like, if I'm talking too sciencey, you're like, what the fuck are you on about? It's like right now you get your electricity bill, and I know in WA, if wherever else you're in the world, I don't know how often you get yours, but in WA you get it every 2 months. You get your electricity bill. So you freaking know it's coming, but you still open up the bill or the gas bill or the car reg or whatever the fuck it is, like business expenses that you know you have to keep, your rent, mortgage, whatever. You know it's coming, but every time you get the bill, you have that reaction that like, ugh, or like, fuck over the bill, or there's some kind of low vibrational shitty reaction because you're reacting, your bodily responses and then your emotions is coming from the subconscious beliefs that you have around money. Back from your childhood.
Definitely. I experienced that a fair bit last year for sure. And you have to do the money mindset work. If you don't change your belief system and you don't reflect back on where it all started, you're never going to be able to change the future. And I think that was something that I did in one of your exercises. It was like, go back to all your money stories, write them out on a piece of paper, go and get really clear on like who was the person that said that to you, what was going on in their lives at the time. And just that activity within itself, it makes you realize that just because mum or dad or whoever said to you, oh, we can't afford it, or money doesn't grow on trees and all of these things, they were struggling and they were doing the best they could. They passed that on to you. You adopted that belief and now you're bringing it into your business. And if you keep bringing that into your business and you don't change it, you'll end up like being that person who goes to everyone, oh, there's a cost of living crisis, how are you going? And you're saying that to your clients while they're in the chair, freaking them the fuck out. And then they're like, you go, oh, do you want to read a book? And they're like, nah, see ya. I don't want to come back here. I can't afford my appointment. We just spoke about a cost of living crisis for the last hour.
Yeah. You have to ask me more questions. My brain's like, I've got once then. And I was like, I've got all the answers. So yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
So with those early experiences and seeing what kind of behaviors or language that our parents taught us when it came to managing money. What do we have to change as an adult so that we don't keep falling into that mentality?
Yeah. So I'm going to break it into layers of how quickly you want the permanent change, right? Because there's so many things out there that we hear that we can do, but they all come at a different level of like what I would call like surface level, medium level, and deep level. And your surface level, that shit does work. It works, but it takes a long time, and it's all about repetition. I don't know about you, but I get fucking tired of repetition. Like, I am too lazy for repetition. That's like a high effort. Like, I have to do this every day, and hopefully one day I will change and my relationship with money will change. I'm like, let's go deep, let's go permanent change, and then everything will ripple from that. But to change, like your relationship with money is made up of your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors. So you got your mindset, which is the deep level, your emotions, which are triggered by your thoughts, mainly subconscious. So sometimes we're like, but I feel this way. It's already been triggered by subconscious thought and you're feeling it. And then your behaviors, which is how you act, like you behave in response to how you're feeling, which is why we get stuck in cycles. You know, so what is it? Self-sabotaging cycles. So look, let's go. Surface layer is like repeat the affirmation, repeat the goal over and over and over again. One day it might happen, right? But let's go deep. Middle level is like remove your emotional money blocks. And I do trainings on this, which is around like you store emotions in your energetic capacity. And if you're holding on to shame, guilt, resentment, anger, embarrassment around anything from today and into your past around money that you've done, your partner's done, your mum's done, dad, brother, sister, school, whatever. If you're holding on to that, that's clogging up energetic space for you to receive more. So you need to do the work around removing that, which is a lot of forgiveness work. It's very energetic. And it's a practice as well, because if you're a bloody brick wall like myself, you and I are very similar. Suit of armor is up. We don't want to have to get emotional because we don't want to have to feel it because it's pain, like it's uncomfortable. Sometimes it takes some digging, but we get there. Then there's the deep work, and this is my Think Rich method. It's only a 3-step process, and a lot of different coaches out there teach it in different ways. I don't think anyone does it in 3 steps. I've narrowed it down to like you only need these 3 core steps. It's really fucking simple, and this is about going back to the earliest memory you have of what you heard about money, like that story, or what you witnessed that has created a story, even though you can't think of maybe the sentence, like I heard money doesn't grow on trees. Maybe you didn't hear that, but you always witnessed something. So you go back to that time and you see where you learned it from, where you witnessed it from. So right now, your subconscious brain has taken on a truth that money is a limited resource. Let's say that one. Usually that's scarcity. Money is limited, or there's never enough. You believe that as your truth, but that's not the real truth. Unless you want it to be your real truth, and you're going to stay stuck in scarcity. So we don't want that. We need to find the real truth. So you go back to that time, or the most earliest memory, or the most significant memory. It could be something when you were older, but it's really freaking like etched in your brain. It's almost traumatic in a way. And you go and like, well, who did I see that from, witness it from? Let's say you heard it from mum. You heard something from mum, or you saw mum behave in a certain way. What was going on for mum in that time? So we take you out of it, and you've got to work out what was actually going on for mum. There's a process of like we balance out, or we calibrate out the emotions. Like, how is she struggling? Like, how was it a negative to her? What was going on in her life that was making her act that way? How is she feeling negatively? Then from there, so first of all, that unlocks a level of compassion. We realize, okay, mum was suffering X, Y, Z. So by her choosing to act that way, how was it a positive to her? How is she gaining from it? And I don't want to give it away too much, because if I give you this process and you do it, you won't actually do it properly. You'll just be like, well, Kim already has given me the points. But, you know, my mum, she became a single mum. She was struggling, and she was on benefits because she had to then get work for, $10 an hour back then, like minimum wage. And I realized by her blaming the trees, as she would be like, money doesn't grow on trees. By her blaming the trees, it took the responsibility off her. So she didn't feel like a bad mum. So by her, she was suffering and struggling and feeling unworthy and not good enough and all those things. So by saying there's not enough money, It's giving her a sense of like she's like worthy, she can be accepted, she can be loved by her children, because my children won't blame me vibes, like the children won't blame her because it's not her fault. Can you see how even though she's been a victim, it's not about that, it's about her but her how she's feeling negatively gives her a sense of positive. And when I hope this is making sense, and it kind of neutralizes that. You find the real truth. So then my real truth is does money doesn't grow on trees? Is that the real truth? Well, no. My mum was just really struggling, and the truth is the only way for her to not feel so freaking shit as a mum is just to blame the trees, or to be like, there's not enough money. It's not me that's not good enough. It's that there's not enough money. So then I realized, and then the third step is then you're like, okay, well, now I found the real truth. What do I want the new truth to be around money? I want it to be that money, I do believe that money is unlimited, because it is. You know, I do believe that money circulates and there's always more, and I'm always supported. And then you take that on as your new belief. Anyway, that's my nice long-winded explanation. Did that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. What makes sense to me, probably because I've done it. But in saying that, like when I reflect on me doing it, I don't know if anyone else has grown up with parents who are in a lot of debt. But for me, I just thought growing up in a small country town, the most I'm ever going to make is 60 grand a year. You know, you are going to be struggling for the rest of your life. And until I actually started doing mindset work and got into the personal development space, like I never actually challenged that belief. And I kept buying into that belief system for so long that it became my reality. And the second someone challenged it and said, well, why do you believe that's true? And then you dive deeper, and then you actually start to think, well, where did that come from? And is that actually true, or can I change it? And you take that personal power and you actually you look for evidence. You look for evidence to actually disprove the belief, and you just realize that, oh, wow, I've just been buying into this. Like we laugh at people who would still be using the iPhone 4 today, you know, or even a BlackBerry. We laugh at them, right? They're like, oh, that's so old. Like, why would you be using that? Like, oh my gosh, there's like an iPhone 16 now or whatever. But we don't ever question our own belief systems and just kind of look back and go, wow, that's really old. Like, is that actually true? And I think we find that in beauty a lot. There's these different types of challenges that people are struggling with. And I'm going to dive a bit deeper and get some of your insight as to how we can move through these, or like what we need to change so that they don't keep pretty much holding you back in business. So the first one is really that undercharging and that fear of rejection. I do plenty of profitable pricing sessions with beauty salon owners, and it's so funny because they always come onto the calls like literally so uncomfortable because they're looking at their numbers for the first time. And then when we go through and they realize, oh my gosh, I'm not making any money on these services. No wonder why I am running at a loss. And then I say, you actually need to put your prices up by like 20% here. Like it's not a little $5 to $10 increase because they've been severely undercharging for so long. And I'm not even just talking like new people in the industry. I'm talking people with like 5 to 10 years experience. And it's obviously coming from that place of self-worth and, you know, scared to increase my worth because everyone else in my charge area is only charging so much and I can't do that. And it's this mindset that we're competing with one another and we're valuing ourselves based on what other people are valuing themselves by. And no one actually knows what they're valuing themselves at. They're just kind of all copying each other, and it becomes this massive race to the bottom. For people who are out there listening to this episode and really struggling to put their prices up or feel like they're worthy of charging that much, what kind of advice do you have for them?
Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here thinking like there are so many parts to this that I want to talk into of like pricing and why, like, yeah, all the different things. So why are people struggling to put up their prices? Yeah? Am I going into that?
Yeah.
Okay. There's always, I'm like, fuck. I love getting on podcasts. I'm like, I can talk about this. And now I'm like, I've got a million things I want to say. There's different levels to it, and there's different things that can be at play. one of the key or core things that happens is the I'm not good enough belief, and that comes from like growing up, I'm not good enough to charge more or whatnot. But it is all stories that we tell ourselves that's like, well, look, I haven't got the experience. I'm not as capable as this person, or it's actually things we hear, like you were saying, like, well, I'm new, so I should charge less. And there's a scarcity of it. Again, it comes back to that scarcity of, if I charge more, I might lose people, and I don't want to lose people. And then you're justifying yourself with, yeah, but I love what I do, and I do what we kind of almost say, if it wasn't, I'd still do this job if I wasn't paid. Like, I'm not doing it for the money.
And I want to look after my loyal clients, and, they've always supported me, and I'm saying, you're doing a disservice to yourself, because they've been loyal to you for like 8 years and you haven't done a price increase in the last 6 years.
Yeah. Look, if you give a good service, then you charge accordingly, and the confidence is going to come. I don't go to the cheapest hairdresser. I used to, because I was in scarcity. So I wanted the cheap. How can I get the cheapest? Because getting, full head of blonde foils with long hair it's a lot. And, but when I get the cheaper option, I usually get the shittier service or the shittier outcome. And yes, there are people who charge premium prices, who've built a reputation and they know their ideal client. But like my hairdresser, she's fucking fantastic, and I pay accordingly. And even when I tell people what I pay, they're like, oh my gosh, you pay that much for your hair? But they're going, and again, no disrespect or anything, but they're going to the people who will charge less, but they don't get the best job. And maybe those people aren't on listening to things like this. But if you're someone who you're like, that's the thing. I want more money. I want a more profitable business. I want to scale. I want to, X, Y, Z. If you know your service is good and you look after your clients and you're not just trying to get money out of them, you actually want them to walk away, like, you can charge accordingly, because people are going to come back for that. And people are loyal to you when you look after them. And look after them doesn't mean a discount. And look, this is a different tangent on this, but there are ways and means that you have a salon-based or beauty-based business that you can create memberships and loyalty things where people, like I put my business coaching hat on now with this, which I know you would have talked about, is, well, you can create memberships and programs like that because there's a commitment. There's a financial commitment. It's like going to the gym. It's going to Pilates. I used to be a Pilates instructor. Pay one class or pay for a 10-class pass. The class itself works out more expensive than if you're in a membership, because you're paying less per class, but you've committed long term. And it's the same with beauty, when getting your beauty work done, lashes, skin, hair. It's not like a one and done. We need to go back and, like, there's upkeep. Anyway, so there's
100%.
like, and then, but the point of me sharing that is then you're going to realize, are you in the mindset of a fucking business owner, of a CEO? Or are you just being, again, I was this person. Are you just being a sole trader? And a sole trader, there's levels to that too, but you can work for yourself, but it doesn't mean you're a business owner. You can be a sole trader where you just pay your own tax. Technically, you're a business owner, but you're not treating it like a
professional
business.
side hustler. I think that's the problem. Yeah. So many people call themselves a business owner, but they're not. They are a hobbyist. They are running a side hustle that is disguised as a business. And I say this with so much love and respect to people who probably don't maybe realize that they may be doing that. But if you're not running your business to make a profit, and you're telling yourself things like, I don't need to pay myself, I don't need to put my prices up, I love what I do, then you're just running a hobby. Because, obviously, as a business owner, you need to provide a quality service. You need to get people results and solve a problem. However, you can't do that for free. Or even worse, you can't do that long term and be running at a loss. And this actually leads me into the next problem that a lot of people in the industry experience, which is over discounting. Now, this is something that I see happen a lot with these frequent discounts, these ongoing sales. People think that if I'm the cheapest, I'm going to attract more clients. But what actually can happen long term is that they end up devaluing their expertise and they create this cheap brand perception. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh my gosh, again, so many thoughts. It's like Can I name big franchises on this?
Go for it. Absolutely.
I get my laser from the Silk. Is it Silk? I think. Do you know what? It's always 50% off. Finish my session. Hey, do you want to book in? We have a sale on the moment, 50% off, and you can pay now. I get that, but I'm like, every single time I've come in is 50% off. So no, like they're losing. But the thing is, I'll go because I know I want laser. They still do a good enough job. Like that's what I'm prepared to pay. I know, like I make these empowered decisions of, I know it's always 50% off. I'm going there. If the service isn't that amazing, I've got it at half price. Like I have my expectations, but they're losing money on me booking back in. Like they're losing money that way for discounting because I'm like, if you always discount, your clients are going to expect that from you. And then they're always going to wait for the discount, right? So you might as well just have that as your price. Or discounting, like I'll use me as an example. I run discounts or give a sale price when I do like my challenges or I run masterclasses and I have a little promo. Purely as because it feels fucking good and you made the effort to show up to this first thing, but there's a time limit. But I keep my word on it. Once it's done, it's done. You miss out, you miss out. If you don't take it on, that's okay. You pay the full price. But I do it from a space of love and generosity, but my discounts still allow me to profit.
Yes.
And that's, yeah. So you have to, if you are trying to discount to keep a client, you're doing a disservice to yourself, and then they're going to start expecting it. And this is, we might talk about this, but I feel the need to say it is when you do, and I know you've talked about this, if you put your prices up, yeah, you might lose some people because they're only coming to you because you're cheap. And they know they get a fucking great service. Okay. But you want to pay more, like, and you will attract those clients anyway. And I do want to say, like, when you're discounting, it's all from scarcity. You're afraid to lose business. You think as long as I just keep getting money through the table. So you have the employed mindset, like the mindset you grew up learning from your parents. If they've never run successful, high profitable businesses, you haven't learned about the entrepreneurial mindset from them. I know there's different layers to it as well, but as a general consensus, like my parents were never business owners. Dad's always tried to start businesses. They've always failed for some reason. So when I first had a business mindset, it was like, I just don't need to make money. Just make sure you're making money. But it was almost like I just worked for myself, you know,
yes.
Like, cause I knew how to make as long as I make a minimum of this and I can pay and I can cover my bills, but I don't leave anything left. But I wanted to say this part from what you said before around, you know, if you're not profiting and you're having a hobby, you have to realize, like most of you guys listening are women. So we run a household. We got to put a roof over our head. We got to feed ourselves. You know, we start a business because we want the flexibility and freedom. If you just fucking love what you do as a beauty service provider and it's not about the money, go work for someone else because then you've got your set wage and whatnot. But if you're like, no, because I want the freedom to work for myself, well, yeah, you've got to make sure you're making the money to feed yourself and create that lifestyle for yourself, if that makes sense. And then on discounting, my tips on if you ever discount, it's to run a promo to attract more people in, but only ever discount that you're still making a profit. There's still a profit margin, which means if there's not, up your prices. Your prices are too low because you have this. Yeah.
I'm going to stop you there because I feel like there's something else I can really add on to that.
Mm-hmm.
When I go through and do the profitable pricing calculator with some of these beauty salon owners, it's crazy to me that they're offering, 20% off, 30% off, and they're not even making 5% profit on their services. And so all of a sudden, if you don't actually know your profit margins on your services and you're selling packages, you're selling memberships, you're going and selling these big promos, you can actually put yourself in a detrimental financial position with your cash flow because it's costing you more in wages, products, operating costs than what you're actually making. And so you might go, wow, I just had all these bookings, and you might get a boost to cash flow, but comes the end of the month, you've got to replenish all your supplies and you've got to pay your wages out, rent and everything. And you're actually in a worse off position than when you started. And this is why I am very strong on, if you're in a client or lead generating phase in your business and you're starting out, having introductory offers is amazing. You know, it is going to be discounted less than what you would be charging at full price, but at least it's creating that premise that you are introducing this service. You are a beginner. You're building up your skill set. You know, you don't want to just say, hey, I'm charging $40 or hey, I'm charging $100. And then you've got to try put it up $50 or $100. It just creates this massive shock to people. And once again, I think I've said this plenty of times on the podcast, you know, no one that is discount or bargain hunting is loyal to anyone but themselves. You know, you could be $50 and they're going to go to the person who's 47. You know, but if you go the other end of the scale, you are premium, you have high profit margins, you price your services in the high end or the luxury end, you have more profit. You can reinvest in upskilling. You can reinvest in the client experience. You can make sure that you feel like you love what you do and you're getting rewarded. Guess how you're going to show up? You're not going to show up resenting your clients and thinking, oh, I've got 8 hours of slugging it away. You know, energetically, when you're getting paid what you want to be making, it's really interesting because, like, I don't know about you, Kim, but I've worked similar hours, right? I've worked similar hours for someone else and I've worked similar hours for myself. And when I was working, I was younger, I was making like $13 an hour at Office Works and I resented it. But I worked the exact same hours at the gym and I was getting paid $25 an hour and I loved it. And so this perception of burnout also comes from the amount of mental fatigue and stress and resentment you build up from not actually getting paid what you want to be making.
I remember when I was here. So look, I want to talk into two parts on this because more clients equal more money, and then when you're maxed out, you put your prices up, right? If you want to keep scaling, you either open up another venue in the beauty world, you either open up another salon, or you put your prices up, or you can bring on more staff and whatnot. But you have that introductory offer is so fucking brilliant because people need to trust you. If you're waxing their fucking vagina and butthole, you know, let's be real. This is like you're looking at people's privates. They need to feel safe. They're going to come test you out. And that's where if you're just discounting the introductory, you know that if I go above and beyond, which you're going to anyway because that's the person that you are, they're going to be like, holy shit, this was incredible. They're going to rebook in. And it is. If you're resentful and they come in and you're like, I've discounted it and they feel that energy, they're going to be like, I don't feel safe with this person.
No.
She's got so much in her world that she doesn't have the capacity to hold space for me. And we know I am the client. I'm not the salon owner. And I know that when I go in, you're having a semi-fucking counseling session. Like you want your hairdresser or your beautician to hold space for you.
Yes.
You know that. And there's another layer to that. You are a fucking counselor in a way. Put your prices up. You've got to listen to people's shit. And you do, and you want to, and you care. So I wanted to share on that. And then the burnout side of things, it purely is that resentment. You know, if you're feeling resentful, you need to put your prices up. And it can be scary because this is what it is. You have a perception that there's going to be a loss without a gain. You're like, if I put my prices up, I'm going to lose people. There's going to be a dip. But one, you are thinking short term. Yep, for the next 2 weeks, maybe you might have a dip in your revenue. But if you're the CEO, business owner, if you want to build multi-six-figure businesses, you're thinking long term. So you take the dip before it goes up. And every time I've done it and put my prices up, I used to be worried about it, and then I realized, but I'm going to energetically attract more in. And it's never dipped. It's never done that. I'm only staying with a salon because people are coming. You might just the weekly revenue might be lower. Potentially. But then, look, you can't – physics proves how the universe works. Energetically, you physically cannot have a loss without a gain. Everything is in duality. You cannot have a single-sided coin. So if you're fearing the loss, you're not looking at the gain. So the loss is, okay, you might lose some of your long-term clients because they don't want to pay your prices because they literally were coming because it was cheaper. The loss is you're going to lose them, but the gain is you're opening up energetic capacity for more people. And you salons, you say it's just you working by yourself, you only have 5 appointment slots on that day. So your prices go up, you fill those 5, you've already made more money. The
crazy thing is you drop that client off, right? The ones that you have that are always chasing the discounts, they go but you might lose maybe max 2. Like I've had this happen with clients
Not
before.
1
They
million.
put their
Yeah.
prices up significantly and they've only lost 2 clients. And then the ones that always reschedule, cancel last minute, no show, they don't follow the aftercare advice. But you get 1 new client or you get 2, and all of a sudden you're making double what you used to from the old clients. And so you're also cock blocking yourself from having better quality clients. So if you look at the people who go into Kmart, Target, they're shopping around in the handbag section. Oh, which one's got the clearance? Oh, I don't like that. They've got such an opinion and, they're negative Nancy's. They're not a vibe. But then you see the people go into Chanel, Louis Vuitton, any high-end place. Oh, they mean business. They're here. They want that premium experience. They don't even like the product half the time. They just like the status, the experience, the feeling. And it's the exact same with beauty. I understand that there's a superficial element to it, but also you as the business owner get to be genuine, get to be real, get to support people on that journey. And so when it comes to all of this stuff, you have to think about, what value am I providing that is worth that monetary exchange? We can talk here about putting your prices up and knowing your worth, but if you aren't passionate about what you do, if you don't actually care about the clients and you're not providing that quality experience and service, then maybe don't put your prices up. Go do some upskilling, go do some training until you can provide that value, because people will only pay when they feel that there is a fair value exchange. And so that's why you have to be the best. This whole podcast, Beauty Industry Leaders, it is about raising the standards of the industry. You need to raise your standards. You need to raise your belief system. You need to raise your value so that you can offer these premium services at a premium price point.
Yes.
Now, when you go to charge your premium prices, right? The next problem everyone's going to have is the comparison trap. They're like, oh, can I charge that? Like the salon down the road, she's got this many years experience. Like I can't do that. And then, you've got these DMs with people who quickly send you a DM. How much does it cost? And then you put your prices, they leave you on scene. How do you navigate the world of comparison?
Oh, the thief of joy. The thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. Look, I get caught up in it. And all it's doing is your body, your mind is looking outside of yourself to find evidence to keep you in the I'm not good enough mentality. That's actually the deepest part to the core of it. You can explain it in other ways, but if you think about it, if you feel like you're not good enough and you have that as a deep-seated belief that I'm not good enough, you think you're good enough for whatever you already have. So say I'm just going to use an example. Say your salon makes 100 grand and you want to make 200 grand. Purely whipping out numbers for easy me remembering them. And the salon down the road, potentially does more or less, or you don't they're doing better. So you feel like you're good enough. You're already earning 100 grand or maybe it's 50 grand. So you believe you're good enough for that. But there's a part of you that doesn't believe you're good enough for more. So then what happens when you're embodying that or tuning into that or allowing that belief to create your reality, right? Remember, it's running on autopilot. You will find evidence to keep proving that right. So the evidence goes, oh, but look, and now we've got competition down the road and they're so much better at X, Y, Z. And because you'll look for all the ways that they're good, or, maybe you might even try to find the ways that they're all bad to make yourself feel better about yourself. We do that too. But what needs to happen is you need to, you hear it all the time, you've got to stay in your own lane because no one's you. There are hundreds and thousands of money coaches and financial coaches and all the different things. And I see people in my community pop up who are teaching certain ways of money management and all that too. And sometimes I get the views of the thoughts of, oh shit, now they're putting that out. They're competing against me. People are going to go to them over me. And I'm like, hang on, I'm Kim Kent. And this is how I talk about money and how I teach money based on everything I learned. And I didn't make this shit up because it's universal law. So you didn't make it up how to wax hair out in a certain way. There's better ways and less better ways, or, what I'm trying to think of, how to remove pigment from people's skin. There's better ways. And, you are you. So you need to hone in on what makes you so fucking good. Why do people want your experience? And when you have a team, your team, you're hiring them. You're a business owner. You're not a fucking best friend. You can become friends with them. And I know this is hard because I have struggled with this too with team. If you're a business owner, you're hiring people, you're giving them money based off your brand and your investments and all of that. and they align with your values. So your team are a ripple effect of your values. And if they don't align with your values, you need to get rid of them. They can go start their own business, like whatever. But it's you and your essence and your values and how you want like the customer experience and how you want people to leave. So if you focus in on that and like how the abundance mindset is there's enough for everyone, it's unlimited. There are unlimited customers. And if you have the reputation, if you focus on building a good rep, people will travel. You know that. You've traveled. I've traveled near and far for certain things because I'm like, I want this service from this provider. Like, do you know what I mean? So if you focus on that, don't worry about if someone's opened up next door the same as you. Do you see what I mean? That's the abundance energy. The scarcity energy is, oh my God, they're going to come in and steal. There is always enough to go around always. And if you and this is the embodiment practice, and this is why if it feels hard, and this is where it comes back to do the mindset work, do your money energetics work, heal your shit around money. So there's always enough. And I speak from experience because I'm 2 years into building the Wealthiest Fuck program, like growing that business. Right. And even in a short time, I worked on my money, started working on my money earlier, previous years to that. But even the last 2 years, it's been an embodiment practice of like, there's always more than enough. I can always find more clients and attract more clients. And it gets easier and easier and easier. And the more I trust into it, like that becomes my go-to. When we're comparing, you're allowing yourself to put that's your go-to experience, your go-to thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's like going to the gym. You want to start being able to run long distances or lift heavier weights. For it to become a new habit, it's going to be harder at the start because your body's not used to being able to, like, you don't have the capacity for that strength and that fitness. It's exactly the same thing. But as you start training, it gets easier and easier and you can maintain that new running distance. You can maintain that new deadlift weight. You know what I mean? It's exactly the same principle, but you have to apply it to yourself. And yeah, I'm speaking from experience. I know you can speak from experience too. The more you embody it, the easier it becomes your new norm. So I know I went shed so much around that, but comparison, if you catch yourself, comparison is just your way to try and justify your behaviors around scarcity. If you're comparing at all, the only way I'll ever compare is to be like, what can I be inspired by and take from what they're doing that does it align with my values? Is it something I want to introduce, but how can I put my spin on it? Like, because you never want to copy, which I know is a whole nother fucking conversation, especially in the beauty industry. You never want to copy. You can be inspired and be like, they're doing an introductory offer. Do you know what? We haven't done that. Let's do one, but let's not do the same fucking one at the same price. Because then you will have people being like, oh, where do I go? I'll try both. This is what I offer in mine. Or how can you do better?
So when you're stuck in that state of comparison, it's because you're not clear on who you are and what value you have and what makes you different. And this is something that I preach about in Beauty Industry Leaders. It is getting clear on your brand, your own personal identity and your brand identity. Once you're clear on your values, what you stand for, what makes you stand out from the rest of everyone else, like you are so in your element because you feel confident. You know who you are. You know why you're different from everyone else. But if you're just trying to fit in and you're trying to be the exact same, it is a struggle. There is a reason why I am not pink branding. I literally cannot stand the color pink. I'm not a pink girly. I don't judge other people that like pink. If you like that, that doesn't affect me. Guess what? Because I know it's not me, but it's not hurting me. It's not hurting anyone else. And so when you stop comparing and then putting other people down because they don't share that same belief or vision, you can find more confidence in yourself. And as long as you're consistently practicing, I guess, more of that self-acceptance and love and appreciation for who you are, you start to realize no one else is like you. Like when I came into the coaching world, I was much the same as you, Kim. I was like, oh my gosh, there are so many people here. Like, how am I different? And I just remembered I'm a lot younger than most of them. I come from this massive background of family businesses, failed successes, and I've had 3 of my own businesses. And then I just started to sit there and I'm like, I use AI. I'm really good at making Excel spreadsheets, as we've found out recently. And it's just like, which other beauty business coaches are doing that? And so I want you to start thinking, if you're listening to this right now, like, what are you really good at? And if you haven't found the thing, that's okay, but keep trying and doing different things. Create your own signature service. make it your own. Put your own spin on it. The more things that you make uniquely yours, the less you start to compare. Comparison is only going to happen when you're just competing with the exact same people, trying to do mimics of them. You know, you have to be uniquely different. And if you don't know how to, start journaling on who you are, what impact you want to make, how you want to be different. Because if you don't create the space to do that, then all you're going to do is get stuck doom scrolling everyone else's content, then going, oh, that's probably what I should be doing. You're going to copy it. You're just going to be another copycat. You're just going to be another bland beauty brand that gets forgotten about.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already thinking, like, if it was me, like, what do I love? Like, what's the experience I want to give my clients? Why did I start doing this in the first place? Because I want women, usually it's like, I want women to feel confident and self-love, and there's a lot of that. Cool. So if I was to walk in or pick your avatar, your ideal client, she walks in, what do you offer? Like, do you offer everything on the menu? And look, maybe you love that. You love to be able to offer everything. So you want to be that. You know what? I fucking hate waxing, but I love XYZ. Then in those sessions, or like it's everyone who like, I specialize in these areas, but when you come, you don't just come and get your eyebrows waxed. You get a little massage and you do, like, your touch is your touch, right? And then there's also, you know, everyone who comes in gets a cup of tea, or I have this set up, or what are those little bits that make you unique? And I think as a brick and mortar style business, like not online, there are so many little touches that you can do. And I'm not saying this, like, I know your brain right now might be going, oh my God, I can add X, Y, Z. Only do it because you know that's you. That's a touch of you. Like, you might be like, people come in and I've got fucking Beyonce playing and it is like, girl, you're getting like, you're feeling fabulous. Like, it's that high energy. It might not be like tranquil music. And that's why people come to you and people are going to talk about you. And like, then we talk about word of mouth. That's how you get more clients. Word of mouth, if you give an epic experience. And it doesn't need to, and then this is why it's like, well, this is why people pay more prices. But let's talk about this. It's almost been a detriment to me going to Bodhi J Spa for massages because everywhere else is shit. That I have been to, unless I, you know, or I haven't found the person who does it amazingly from their home salon because I haven't seen their marketing or whatnot. But you go to Bodhi, yes, you're paying premium prices, but the experience, like, I will pay $300 for a massage over $100 for a massage if I know I'm getting that Bodhi, that experience that they get. And I've been to other fancy day spas. Now, if I know I want to go and get, you know, the Asian massage, everyone knows your little Asian massage shops, like, it is what it is. That's what they are. If I know I just want something quick and, you know, we know they're cheaper, you know, they're hit and miss, but you know what experience you're going to get, but you made that choice. You see what I mean? Like,
there's certain expectations around the price point. Hey, like, if I see someone who's always discounting or have low prices, I would really question, why are they that low? You know, are they experienced? Are they new? What kind of products do they use? Like, there's so many things that tick over in my head. And if you don't see that in the beauty industry and you struggle, like, let me ask you this. If you had to go to the dentist and you had to go get your teeth pulled out, would you go to the $300 dentist or would you go to the $1,000 dentist? Now, it obviously depends on where your bank account's at and how desperate you are and the problem needing solved. But I know for sure as hell I would be going to the $1,000 dentist because I value the experience. It's my fucking teeth. I don't want my teeth to be pulled out and there's like an infection or something goes wrong. Like, I just automatically associate that value, that expertise, that experience with the higher price point.
Yeah, exactly. And this comes back to, like, what experience do you want to give? How do you value yourself? How do you see yourself? And I know us talking through this and you're listening, we've already, when you start to go into the problem solving, like, okay, how do I show up? Where it's almost like you're creating your own strategy going forward. How easy does it block out the bullshit? Because now you're focusing on yourself and your strategy going forward.
Love that.
This is all aligned with money and your sense of self-worthiness and your energetics around your own wealth and how you hold yourself. So, yeah, love this conversation.
What are your top 3 tips for really building that relation back up with your self-worth? Like, maybe I've been devaluing myself, undercharging. I don't feel like I'm worthy. I'm struggling with imposter syndrome all the time. I'm comparing. Like, what are 3 actionable tips that you can give the beauty business owner who is trying their heart out but just feeling so stuck right now?
2% of the world are self-accountable. The rest of us are not. If you want to fast track, if you want to save time, you need to spend money. If you want to save money, it's going to cost you time. Time is your most valuable commodity because it's the only thing you can't make more of. You can always make more money. So look, if you're fucking serious and you're like, I've been trying to do things and I keep trying and trying or it just feels hard, get help, get support. Every single time, like I will never not have a coach. I'm always invested in something and learning and growing and having that accountability. One, I've got skin in the game. I don't want to waste my money. Fuck no. I'm not saying you have to buy a high-end coach or like a really cheap coach because that does, like, you'll know energetically who's right for you and who you need. Obviously, Sammy here is amazing.
Shameless plug.
And like spend the money on yourself. You need to fucking decide that you are worthy. So second tip, these aren't really, it's not a tip, an actionable thing because I want to empower you to make the best decision for yourself. And what that is, so invest in yourself, get a coach, get the help. It's going to fast track you. Learn from the people who are already winning and learn from them and see what's going to feel good and what not so good and how you can apply it. I know listening to this has been like high value, but get a personalized strategy for yourself. So then it's the whole, like, you are your understanding that you are your biggest asset. And people say your business doesn't reflect you or your money or whatever. I'm like, your business is an extension of you, especially small business is an extension of you. Okay. And your vehicle, everyone wants to make money. We all have our vehicles to receive the money. So you've chosen a business as your vehicle to receive money. Okay, so you're the driver. So if you need to see yourself, the driver, as the most valuable asset. So whenever you feel stuck or any other things vibing with stuck or stressed or whatever, you can't change it. You're going to try and fix things outside of yourself, but you need to fix. It's not that you're the problem. It's not that you have to fix yourself, but you need to realize I'm the biggest asset. I need to put energy and time and potentially money into me. So what is it that I need right now? Where is it that I need support in? Do I need support with my relationship with money? Do I need to change that? Do I need do a profitable, what's your call? PP, profitable
pricing calculator. Can you say that 10 times really fast? No, I'm just kidding.
Pricing calculator, profitable pricing. Yeah. So maybe you need to do that. Maybe you need a one-on-one coach because you work better that way. Maybe you need to do a training course, but you have to hold yourself accountable and do it and show up for yourself. And actionable tips.
Number three. It's one last one.
What is it to do with self-worth? It's because do you know what you can do right now? You need to forgive yourself for all of your past shit. I need you sit down, get the journal out. One thing at a time, write down all the things you have shame or guilt around on yourself. Start with yourself. Like, fuck, I was overdue on my tax, or I blew my $62,000 inheritance, or I buy dumb shit online when I'm drinking wine.
Yeah, stop the Temu purchases. Imagine how much money you're spending on Temu right now. Imagine if you just invested even $97 into some mini upskilling training and you learn a new skill that could even get you one client, and then that's another $200. Like, think about where you're investing your money. If I look at your bank account and I look at your calendar, I can tell you straight away what your priorities are in life.
Yeah. So forgive yourself. You can follow the forgiveness. It's that you write it down, then you do one point at a time, one event. And I do this all the time, actually, because it's, okay, thank you for the lesson. Past self did. 10 years ago, you maxed out a credit card and ended up with a bad credit rating because you couldn't pay back. Say that's the example. So you've been holding that on, like, that shame and that guilt on yourself for the last 10 years, taking up capacity. No one, like, your self-worth is this orb of light that just wants to shine 1,000%. You're born 100% worthy. So all these things that happen and you hold the shame and guilt, if you're watching the video of this, you're creating like a paper mache ball around this orb. It's my best description. So what we need to do is we need to start peeling it back so the light can shine through, because you don't have to increase your self-worth. You just have to realize it's there by peeling back, taking out this resentment and just shit that you're holding in your energy, like I talked about before. So you need to thank yourself for the lesson. What did you learn from that experience? Forgive yourself.
Love it.
Apologize for current self. Like Kim today, say 10 years ago I did that 10 years ago I blew the inheritance. say I was doing this work right now, for 10 years, I held that shame on 23-year-old Kim. I was being a fucking mean girl and I was holding that shame against myself. So I need to apologize for doing that and then say, I love you. Really fucking powerful process, a really beautiful process. And the more you clean up your aura and your energetic capacity, the more you will invite in. So that's the sense of self-worthiness. You realize, oh my gosh, I am here and I am available for more. I am worthy of more. I'm not holding on to the past. I'm open to receiving. So it's a really beautiful energetic practice around that. I was going to say something.
So powerful.
Oh, I want to share this one last thing. What I do and what I help you do, and like this is, I guess, how I'm different. One of the many reasons how I'm different. I don't want you to have to stop buying your Temu or your Shein or whatever the fuck you buy, or your daily coffees. I don't care what it is. I don't want you to have to give that up for something else. There is a strategy in which short term you might need to rearrange some things and make empowered sacrifice. But I'm all about creating your lifestyle so you can have your cake and eat it too. Like we just put a $1.13 million offer on a house the other day, and we're still going to Italy. We're still traveling the same year we're buying a house, where we would have grown up thinking like, don't travel if you're trying to save for a house deposit. Like it's all about, you can do it, you can have it all too, but you got to get yourself set up there. So Sammy's saying like, yeah, maybe stop the Temu right now, because short term it is not providing you that sense of self-worthiness and growth within your business and the outcome you want. But the end goal is, I want to be able to do my Temu purchase and have a profitable business and pay and invest in myself and do the courses and have the coach. So there's an in-between area that you're bridging the gap where, there's going to be empowered sacrifice. There's going to be short-term no's for now, self-control for long-term gain. It's not forever self-control. It's not always restrict or sacrifice, because you'll just constantly be sacrificing, and that's a shitty energy to be in. But anyway, I wanted to share that too, because I think that's super relevant.
I love that. I definitely agree with everything you've said. And I think it's also really nice to just have that reassurance that, hey, we actually all go through this shit. We all have the self-worth stories, the imposter syndrome, the I'm not good with money mindset. But the difference between those who you see online who are actually making good money, who do build these thriving businesses, is they do the fucking work. It's uncomfortable, it's messy, it's scary, but it is so critical and essential for you to go and implement strategies and start attracting more opportunities and creating success in your business. If you don't do this, if you don't change your mindset, you're not going to change the way you show up. You're not going to change your shabbats. You're not going to change your habits, and you 6 to 12 months, you're going to be in the same place complaining about the same things, being that same victim. And so Kim is hosting a money challenge, which, how many have you done now? You've done a fair few. It's been a couple of years. This is the last.
I did about 4 each year, 3 last year, 4. I think this might be my 8th one, maybe.
Ooh.
8, yeah.
PSA, I taught Kim how to run challenges, and now she's built a multi-6-figure business. And I used to have a lot of like, what am I doing wrong? Why does she get the success and I don't? And then I realized it was my own mindset. Like, that is a pure classic example of how important it is to do the mindset work.
You taught me. Yeah, you taught me the framework. Yeah, I love it. But yes, that's coming up. It's running from the 3rd to the 5th of February. It's only $47 to work with me for 3 days. It is less than your Uber Eats order. It's less than going out for dinner. It's less than 2 espresso martinis. I'll tell you that.
Half the cost of one of your services. So what's the gainer here? Like, for them, they're thinking, oh my gosh, scarcity mindset, $47. I listened to this good podcast episode, which was free, but I don't want to part ways with my $47. Why should they part ways with the $47?
I'm teaching you 3 ways to save $100K. I'm teaching you 3 of my wealth principles from my signature money management blueprint. Okay. This helped me bank $100,000. It's helped my clients on average save an extra $20K a year, if not more. You're going to hear some stories from like Whitney, who saved $96,000. She almost hit $100,000 in 2 years, but she was saving to buy the dream home. She was able to buy the dream home before. So she just moved into her dream home on the beach, like fucking brilliant. There's a $500 prize up for grabs. I'm really transparent. I used to do this for free, but I had heaps of time wasters, because you're learning the stuff, but you're not invested, so you're not implementing it. So you spend $47 and you learn 3 wealth principles or saving strategies that I can guarantee that I will save you back that $47 from day one, from the task that I give you. You'll probably be able to, from the first step you learn and the task I give you, and a 5-year-old could do it, is you're going to realize how much you're probably going to free up. You're probably going to see how you can easily save 20 grand in next year without having to earn more. I'm basing that on my average client who earns a full-time amount, okay? It really depends on how much you earn, but you never know because there's all the energetics. So it's just really fucking cool. It's really fun. It will be recorded. I don't run them often. So this is like the most affordable way to work with me, like low-cost way to work with me live. It's like a mini course in itself. Like I could charge $1,000 for it as a 3-module savings strategy course, but $47.
We're actually about making impact here without having to invest that much to get your foot in the door. Because once you do get your foot in the door and you are making the money, that's when you start to realize you can make the bigger investments.
Yes. So yeah,
amazing. I'll leave the link in the show notes so you can go check it out. I highly recommend. I've had a few clients that have gone to Kim and they absolutely love it. I've had Kim present in my masterminds in the past and everyone says the money mindset side of things has just completely transformed their own relationship with themselves and they've been able to go make more money. Like this is important stuff. Listen to this episode again if you need to. Like there is no shame in repeating this stuff. Like, you know, save it. So when you're having a down week or maybe you're on a high and you want to start making even more, like come back to this episode because there are so many great tips and strategies and powerful mindset shifts that you can consistently implement and remind yourself of. So as a valued listener, if you found great value in this episode, if you loved it, can you please do Kim and I a massive favor and screenshot and share this to your stories and tag us with your favorite takeaway. In my goal to continue providing you with awesome guests, great value, and keeping the show going, we need to know, do you like this or do you think it's lame? Because if you hate us, like you don't have to share it. It's fine. So for every listener that doesn't share it, I'm going to put up a story and count how many and cry on live because that's how I get attention. No, I'm just kidding. I couldn't think of anything worse. But I would love it and really appreciate it if you could please take 30 seconds out of your day. Kim and I have currently taken over an hour out of our day to give to you. So we just want to ask you to take out 30 seconds. That's all it takes. Can you do that?
Yeah.
I think they can do that.
I love it. Like if you hate us, I'm sure if you hate us, you would stop listening by now.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We triggered them too much at the start. It's fine. Oh, I love this. Well, thank you so much, Kim. Where can people find and connect with you if they want to reach out or see more about what you do?
Yeah, literally Instagram, KimKent _. You can find me there. We can pop all these links up. I have a free Facebook community as well. It's called Money Hacks for Women. You'll see my face in the cover photo because I'm sure there's other groups. It's the generic name, but it's obvious. You can join that free community. I always share awesome things in there, free tips, offers, just rants of like what's going on, how to deal with it, all those types of things around money. So you're welcome to join there. And if you really want to stalk me and my main program and what, it's called Wealthy as Fuck, there's an asterisk. You can stalk the program, literally go wealthyaf.com.au. You can read up how, I'm helping women save multi-5 figures a year without sacrificing their lifestyle, breaking out of the payday to payday, like stop hanging out for the next invoice or Stripe payment or however you guys are receiving your money. Stop hanging out for that and get in a beautiful flow with your money and reclaim your money power.
I love that. And I love you and appreciate all your time and your insight into today's episode. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And thank you if you've listened this far. We hope you have a great week and wish you all the best with your money mindset moving forward. See you next week. Bye.
Audience exclusive.